Hi, this is Shweta, and I want to talk about how to deal with negative emotions. I'm not a subject matter expert on this, but I do follow Vipassana meditation on a regular basis and also the teachings of our teacher Goenkaji. Now, feeling fearful, tired, exhausted, out of control, uncertain, frustrated, angry, sad, they're all natural feelings, and especially in these times. But let me tell you one thing, that suppressing these emotions and trying to pretend to be positive, optimistic, it's not going to work. In fact, it resurfaces and in a much multiplied form or a violent form, just with a little trigger. Or expressing this emotion in a vocal form is also not going to help you. Because more you express, more you think about it, more you reflect, more you share with your people and with your other loved ones, it just multiplies and multiplies and multiplies. It's like adding fuel to the fire. So the first thing to remember is that suppression of your negative emotions or expression in vocal forms, that's not going to help you to manage and to take care of these negative emotions. So what we're really talking about here is the middle path. And that middle path is actually to observe your negative emotions, is to watch them without engaging with them, without trying to suppress them or express them. You're just observing them. Now, the image that really helps me personally when I'm practicing, my Vipassana or in my daily life is the image of sitting on the bank of a river. And in Sanskrit, it's called tatastha. And what that means is that you are on the bank, which is the tat, and you're solidly and firmly on that bank of the river. The river is in front of you flowing, and sometimes there are currents, there are rapids, but then you're not flowing with those rapids and currents. You are firmly sitting on the bank and you're observing the flow of the river. You're not feeling excited, you're not feeling fearful, because you're not connecting with the flow of the river. You're just observing it. And the beauty of this is that when you observe something, you do not add the fuel to the fire. You just watch it, and over a particular time, over a certain time, it dies out, it passes. Now, the point is that if you think about it, watching, observing an abstract emotion, it's not granular, right? It's an abstract emotion. It's not easy. So how do you do that? How do you actually become so aware and alert to watch, to observe these emotions? Because they're part of our lives, right? They come and they go if we allow them to go. So how do we do that? So what you really need to understand, and what again has helped me personally just to make this connection, the first thing is mind and matter are related. So that's what you need to really understand. How you're feeling at an emotional level reflects in your physiology. You might notice it, you might not notice it, but things change in your body. Now, there are two fundamental changes that happen at physiological level. One is your respiration, your breathing, that alters. The speed with which, or the way with which you're breathing, it actually undergoes a shift, a change. So that's the first change. The second is at a deeper level, where it could be your heart rate, your palpitation, your sweat, the sensations, how you're feeling, the heaviness, the pain, all those feelings. They start, not feelings, actually, they are the actual physiological changes that are happening in your body because you're feeling in a certain way. You might have noticed that, your neck starts hurting or the back starts hurting. You just feel different in your body. And that's the deeper level of physiological change that happens. Now, once you understand this, that the mind is related with matter, and when you are feeling in a certain way about, emotions or negative emotions especially, let's talk about that, your body is responding in a different way. Therefore, to watch your abstract emotion is equivalent to watching your breathing and the sensations that are happening in your body. And that's an important distinction to make. So for example, when I'm practicing Vipassana or sitting down and observing my breathing and observing my sensations, my body sensations, I'm not trying to focus on a mantra, or I'm not trying to focus on some image or try to do some breathe exercises. That's something different, and that has got its own benefits. But here the whole idea is to sit down and just to observe the breathing. Are you aware of that? How is it happening? Which nostril it's going through? What sensations your body is having, every part of your body, just observing it. So you're building that awareness, the minute observation power. Because how that helps us actually on a daily basis. We can't afford to sit down every moment and just sit down and just observe ourselves, because on daily basis, when you're on an, you're doing things on and off, right? It's like how aware you are of your emotional state. Can you observe it in an objective manner versus getting entangled, expressing it or suppressing it? Can you just observe, be on that bank of that river, emotional river, tatast, and then you will realize that it passes away. It just moves because it's impermanent. Look, I can tell you one thing, that the way things are in this modern world, we generally look outside. Sometimes it's the virus, sometimes it's people, sometimes it's the government, sometimes it's economic situation. There will always be a factor which will throw you off balance, which will make you feel in a certain way, sometimes angry, sometimes sad, sometimes whatever. There'll always be a reason, always an excuse, right or wrong. And unfortunately, we cannot control all those factors. You know that. But what you can do is to actually focus more inwards, to really observe yourself, to get to know yourself a little bit more. How do you breathe? What are the sensations on your body? When some emotions arise, what changes in you? Do you get entangled? Do you engage with it? Or do you just smile and let it pass? Now, when I say this, you might think, how does that happen? Because it's not easy. It's not easy, when those emotions arise, they overpower you, they overpower us. And it's very difficult to have that objectivity in that moment. And by no means I'm saying it's going to start happening by today itself for you, but it does require practice. It does require you to be more aware of being a more balanced person, not letting emotions throw you off balance, good or bad, doesn't matter. There's nothing good, there's nothing bad. It's just the reality of that moment. And that's what you need to understand. That's the reality. And I look at it, I observe it, and I know that this too shall pass. So I really hope that you will spend a little bit more time observing yourself, being more aware of your emotional state, and knowing how to deal with them so you stay in the state of balance. Wishing you lots of joy and lots of peace and lots of safety. You take care of yourself. I'll be in touch with you again very soon. Namaste.